Hey everybody, we will be starting shortly. Just waiting couple of minutes. Hey everyone, GM. We're very excited for this particular workshop. Today we have Filecoin and we have Jenks from Filecoin Foundation joining. He's a developer advocate at Filecoin. Um, yeah. Hey.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Pretty.
Hey. So first of all, apologies that we are keeping you awake. He's joining us from Australia and it's like 1:30 a.m. there. So apologies for that.
Yeah, no worries. Building never stops.
Yeah, definitely. So I was going through your profile, like I was talking you before this stream, and I saw that you write as well. And I just happened to read this blog of yours that stop working as if you are like 100,000 years old, and it's like one of the most amazing pieces I've ever read, like literally ever read. And I sent it to all
Oh,
of my friends, and they were like really amazed by it. So if you are like anybody who's like watching right now or will be watching later, definitely go and read that piece. I'll just
uh,
put it in the comments as well for people
yeah.
to like refer to.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for spreading words of that article. The idea is to get a job that you enjoy, so it doesn't feel like working anymore. And that's what happened to me for about 3 years. So I didn't feel like I was working. So yeah, like tonight, I'm waking up at 1 p.m. 1 a.m. But but it's still really really enjoyable. This work is.
Yeah, thank you for writing that piece. I'm sure that will help a lot of people. Yeah, so so I just would quickly introduce everybody with today's agenda. Today's agenda is pretty simple. As everybody, if you're here, you already know about BRB Bounty. We have $55,000 worth of bounty live, and Filecoin is one of the our bounty sponsors, and he will be introducing you with all the nitty gritty of the bounty. And yeah, stage is yours.
Thank you, Priti. GM, everyone, it is a privilege to be here, to be speaking to you about Filecoin and Filecoin-related technology. As Priti said, it's pretty early or late here in Australia. It is going to be a little bit hard for me to stay awake. So if you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat and interact with me. So my workshop today is going to be a very casual one. I would like to have kind of a two-way conversation with you on what you can talk about what you're building, but what I'm going to introduce are some concept of decentralized storage that Filecoin network provides, and also how to build DataDAOs on some of the material that my colleague has developed. A little bit about myself. I'm a developer advocate, and I have been a developer advocate for about a few years. Where I'm working at right now is Filecoin Foundation. I've worked with Protocol Labs engineers very closely on pushing forward the Filecoin ecosystem. The idea of decentralization of the internet and decentralization of internet storage really fascinates me about more than a year ago. So I've joined the project to help spread the word out to developers out there, and it's been an amazing journey. So without further ado, I will go into the content of the workshop. Really, Filecoin and IPFS goes together. IPFS happened a little bit earlier. It's a decentralized hypermedia transfer protocol, and Filecoin on top of that is a network that trying to incentivize the hardware build up for Web 3.0. Now, I don't need to explain what Web 3.0 is. A lot of people here will have their own definition of what this is and a general understanding. My understanding is that it is using blockchain technology and a few technologies together, and a bunch of very enthusiastic people to push forward the agenda of a single goal, which is let's get rid of centralized entities in Web 3.0 in the new internet. Will break the control of some really large entities, like really large platforms on the internet, to be able to give the control back to users like you and I. Now, one of the issues that people have faced is that, yes, you can build open source projects to allow people to take control of the internet infrastructure. But what happens is a lot of projects are still being run on cloud platforms and some of these sort of really convenient centralized services. Filecoin was created to solve this problem. We want to encourage the build-up of bare metal infrastructure for Web 3.0. If you have done any kind of work with physical machines in IT work, you'll know that one of the most expensive things to build up is hard drive spaces. A lot of cloud platforms and data centers are essentially selling hard drive spaces in there. It's one of the single most profitable kind of resources to lease out. And then along with that, to be able to move data around is also very expensive. So Filecoin was created to solve this problem, and starting from storage, definitely not limited to storage. Before I go into Filecoin, I would like to talk a little bit about IPFS, which is my favorite acronym in Web3. It stands for Interplanetary File System. For those who understands it or have heard of it, please just let me know in the chat. So interplanetary file system was created to solve interplanetary communication systems, a file transfer that works no matter where humans are in the solar system. The speed of light is actually quite limited, and our communication is bound by the speed of light. To be able to run a whole internet or have a file system that works across planets, it is quite difficult with today's model. Let's say if someone's on the moon or on Mars trying to browse the internet as we know today, the latency will kill the experience. However, if the content is cached locally on their planet and it is constantly in sync with where contents are mostly hosted, such as Earth, and there's a universal identity of the information and objects on this network, and it is unique between the two planets, then we have some system that is able to work no matter where people are. So IPFS was created, and IPFS is a decentralized storage and delivery network to transfer data. This is built from the ground up, a protocol that is quite similar to BitTorrent, but made a lot better and a lot modular to be able to adopt different developers' needs. It is completely peer-to-peer, so most of the nodes in the network are going to be independent, and they can provide services to each other. They can discover each other, and they can also consume services from each other. They also have universal IDs in this system. Now, these peers work as just they're on the same level as each other. There's no hierarchy in this whole network. People will be the nodes in the network, or these kind of little workers in there will come and go and provide services to each other. They will relay messages to each other and help to transfer files. Now, it is built with distributed web principle in mind. So there's no central server. There's no authority in the network. It is very resilient, and it's also designed with offline first principle in mind. So in this kind of system, if you say take out a whole piece of network or break connection of a lot of them, the system will still march on as if nothing has happened. Now, one of the most amazing thing in this network is people don't really use addresses to be able to find content. The most innovative invention of IPFS is the content addressing scheme. Every single piece of file and information that's being sent to the network is identified with a content ID, which is a hash digest of the entire file. Instead of like HTTP, where it asks for the server address and a specific location in the server to look for a file, in IPFS, what we do is we ask for the content ID for the file, which represents for the file, and this has its contents fingerprint engraved in the ID, and then the network asks for the content itself and does not care where the content is. Immediately, you can duplicate a lot of contents in different kind of computers and still work as one. Let's say if you have a copy on Mars and a copy on Earth, when you retrieve it, the network will just automatically find nearest nodes that is able to serve the file and serve it to you. Also, it's able to deduplicate information on the network as well, because every single time when someone uploads the same file, it is going to generate the same ID and the same URL on the network. So you don't have to keep multiple copies of it. You can just retrieve it right away on the nearest node that you have. So if it is on your computer, you don't have to upload it to a centralized server really far away from you. You can just retrieve it from your computer and interact with it locally. So IPFS is built on top of a few technologies. Some of the prominent ones are libp2p, which is a peer-to-peer network protocol. It's a library of different technologies together to allow specifically the application developers to solve the peer-to-peer communication issue. So with libp2p, you can achieve browser-to-browser communication without the need of a third-party server to transfer to be the intermediary communication relay. It is trusted by major projects such as Polkadot and Ethereum. There's also IPLD, which is the data model for Web3, which offers linked data based on some of the primitives that's being used for IPFS. And together with IPLD, IPFS, and a few other technologies, you can build a file system on top of it. You don't have to only run a file system with it. In libp2p and with IPLD and libp2p, you can also build, say, a chat protocol that is able to help people to chat peer-to-peer or send notifications in peer-to-peer. So anything is possible with this these decentralized primitives that Protocol Labs has built. So IPFS, since its creation in 2019, has achieved quite a bit. So first of all, performance has improved a lot. People always associate Web3 technology with very bad performance because it's still in its infancy. But in just a short 3 years' time, we have seen the 95 percentile find time increase quite a bit. And I'll introduce a little bit some of the other projects that we have to even accelerate that further. Also, the number of contributors to the project, it is an open source project, has increased quite a bit. And number of integrations and monthly users and IPFS Power apps both have increased quite a bit since then. It is worth mentioning that some of the browsers have natively adopted IPFS in their protocol. Brave is one of them, and Opera. So if you, instead of typing http:// in these browsers, you can directly interact with IPFS protocol by typing IPFS://. So future is very near, and the major adoption on other browsers that has bigger share of the market is underway. So we hope to have that everywhere on where we use the internet. There is also a quite large array of services that is providing IPFS, either data onboarding services, pinning services, or to allow these IPFS content to be retrieved really quickly. Cloudflare, for example, is one of the partners that we work with to accelerate the delivery of the IPFS content, and it's working pretty well. If you have used IPFS, please let me know in the comment area. I would love to know and how you're using it right now. These are some of the kind of implementation of IPFS. You can download desktop software that drags the file to your local IPFS node, and it will talk to other nodes. I think last time when I spin it up, I connect to about 100 peers easily from my location, and I was talking to peers in Singapore, China, and also New Zealand. At any point of time, there's a vast amount of peers, IPFS peers that is working, and people are contributing their computer resources and network resources to be able to keep this network alive. So it's quite amazing. So download IPFS desktop if you just want to play with it today. Or if you game, you can download the Go IPFS. I think it's called, it's still called Go IPFS, I believe. And then this implementation is able to run on the command line and spin up a API portal API interface to be able to talk to your application. There's other ways to interact with IPFS, but this one of them is like download the Node package to be embedded in your application. There is also hosted solutions available. Pinata and Infura, for example, both offers IPFS hosting services, so you can run your node on their services and then have private control of those nodes for yourself. So many ways to use it. And IPFS future is looking pretty good. We are trying to implement IPFS in mobile devices. So native app developers is able to implement IPFS node right on their application to truly decentralize their application. So for example, I was talking to quite a bit of account abstraction projects. So they are working on being able to provide really good user experience and on the crypto wallet. And they will want to be able to allow users to take custody of their own data instead of talking to a centralized server. So they want to be able to allow users to run their own file server essentially on their mobile phones. So they can store their user database there locally. Isn't that cool? That's pretty cool, but it has a few challenges. And the IPFS Iron project, that is Iron, IROH.computer project is all about. And we're also improving the performance of IPFS content exchange, IPFS native implementation in mobile, and game engine is also there. There's an Unreal Engine plugin and the Unity plugin, thanks to some of our partners and grantees to be able to provide the technology and integration to them. And we're also trying to push IPFS to be implemented on major tools for developers, such as curl, FFmpeg browsers, and maybe one day in Linux kernel can take IPFS protocol in as one of the methods. That will be very exciting. Now on to the next part. So just IPFS itself doesn't really guarantee a very reliable and a real infrastructure for people to build applications on. Let's say if you want to put a million user application on IPFS, yes, you can do it, but you probably need to spend a lot of resources to be able to run your IPFS cluster and keep it going. And if you stop running that, it's likely that your content will disappear from the network. The IDs will still be there. The CIDs or content IDs will still be on the network. And as long as someone makes those files available, they can get it back again. However, we need to face that there is no kind of a real infrastructure or reliable infrastructure for people to run applications on. This was the whole idea of Filecoin Network. Filecoin Network was created so we can unite the people around the world that has ability to build data centers or operate data centers to join a network and collectively sell decentralized storage to enterprise clients such as NASA, such as New York City Open Library, the academics in universities around the world. We want to be able to power, we want to be able to make decentralized storage a reality and also prove that a lot of people will be paying for this service as well. So Filecoin Network has been created a little over 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Yes, 3 years ago. It's been some time now. And we have successfully attracted 3,300 more storage providers to around the world to provide data services to the network. And it is representing about 40 nations. And on top of all of the hardware investment that the community has contributed, they are also securing the network by pledging a lot of money to the network. So $170 million worth of FIL has been pledged and locked into the network to secure the network financially. Now, our proving mechanism is more like a proof of stake kind of a chain. So Filecoin Network enables open services and data, and as an incentive layer to IPFS, it is a kind of a global digital economy that leverage Filecoin blockchain and then be able to exchange value. And the idea is that in this economy, we make storage, decentralized storage, really cheap and compelling for businesses to use and developers to use, and then we collectively sort of exchange value within the economy, and then outside the economy, we are providing services in exchange for example, fiat currency for our services. Now, storage is just the beginning. What we're working on is also allowing data to be retrieved. So we're building our CDM projects, Saturn and Titan. And also we have we are opening the Filecoin blockchain system to be able to allow developers to build on top of that. And that's the FEM that I was going to talk about today. We are also opening off-chain compute because we know that blockchain system right now is not able to process petabytes of data. So we would like to use some of the really beefy machines that Filecoin storage provider have to process the data that's being stored on the same location. So it makes a lot of sense because once data is stored on the data center, it's very expensive to actually move it off. If we're using internet, it's actually cheaper to move it through a device that looks like what's on the next to the push protocol logo on the screen on the top right hand side. So physically moving hard drives, data with hard drives is actually still one of the mainstream way of moving large amount of data around. So it's very expensive to move around. If we have attracted really valuable data to be stored on Filecoin Network, then it is a no-brainer that the customers will likely to use the compute services on top of Filecoin machines to be able to process these data. So for example, training AI models or be able to transfer transcript videos or transcode videos, on Filecoin Network, it's best to be able to done on the same data center where the data was stored, instead of being moved to say public cloud and then be processed there. It's going to be very expensive. Here's some information about Filecoin blockchain technology. If you're a blockchain geek like me, take a look at some of these things, and we do have pretty good documentation on how things work. We're one of the most kind of open source, open projects out there with open information about how we run. One of the interesting facts is Filecoin is the world's largest deployed ZK Snark network to date. Our ZK circuit in quantity is a few times bigger than even Zcash, who's heavily using ZK Snark technology to secure their network. We are using ZK Snark to reduce the message size that our storage providers need to send to the network, and to be able to meet the 30 seconds block time design requirement. We're heavily using all the primitives that Protocol Labs have made to Web3. So for example, libp2p underpins the communication in Filecoin Network. And also we're using DRAN, decentralized random number generators, which is the logo that you see at the middle bottom of my slides. That DRAN project is using collective signing signatures to be able to create time-locked random numbers, and that is used to ensure that the Filecoin's election process is fair and hard to be attacked. So there's some pretty good hardcore engineering and technology there for developers who is willing to dig deep into some of the methods. a little bit about crypto economics. There will be 2 billion Filecoins ever created over its lifetime, and in about 30 years, 97% of the coins will be issued. The block rewards is issued with the method called simple minting and baseline minting. And this is designed specifically with game theories in mind. Baseline minting means that if all the storage providers contribute and expand that network, everyone will be getting more reward collectively. If the network capacity is reducing, then the reward will be, everyone will be getting less reward. So all of the players within Filecoin economy are encouraged to increase their capacity continuously. So this was written into the crypto economics itself. There's also a few other concepts. If you're interested, please take a look at this slide, note down some of the words, and look into the design of the Filecoin economy closely. When I say our project is open, even Filecoin's economic design is quite open, and my colleagues at Crypto Econ Lab, they write a lot of researches on anything that they have done, including like pushing out some of the new initiatives in the network and their impact on Filecoin's supply of economics and supply of coins and demand of those coins. So there's a lot of information that you can find if you want to copy or learn from Filecoin's experience. The economy is designed to be a phase economy. In stage 1, we're focusing on the capacity and the security of the network. We're giving out a lot of block rewards for building up of the network. In the stage 2, we're tuning down some of the block rewards in exchange for good quality of service, and also for real deals coming in to prove that we can have the storage services paid by clients. And then in stage 3, we basically expect a lot of community projects and also storage providers to be able to establish their own brand and provide high quality products such as cloud drives or whatever to its customers, and getting steady stream of income. So they should rely on block rewards very little by them. So these are the 3 stages. It could take a while to get to a different stage, but that's kind of a schedule that we're working towards. There's been an incredible growth of storage clients ever since its creation. And in 2022 and 2023, we have experienced a exponential growth in storage, sort of a storage amount or clients that you may call it. And basically, Filecoin is encouraging a lot of data onboarding right now. In some occasions, 1 petabyte per day. That's 1,000 terabyte per day being onboarded to Filecoin. Also, Filecoin is the only decentralized network that is able to take petabytes of hard drive of information at once, because the protocol is designed to encourage enterprise participants like professional data centers. Why do people choose us and Filecoin's storage providers? Lower cost is being one of the most obvious ones. We are offering much drastically cheaper prices than cloud services out there. And we also are able to improve data availability. So we have more point of presence than other projects than what public cloud can offer. 3,300 across 40 different countries. That's a lot of data redundancy that you can spread around the world. So to make sure your data has the best chance of survival, even when we're in really bad situation around the world. The IPFS content addressing scheme that I mentioned earlier gives the data what we call immutability. So being able to verify the storage to make sure that the data has not been tampered and moved or changed or corrupted. That's the technology that we offer pretty much for free in Filecoin. People get that if they're using Filecoin storage services. Whereas in cloud, you usually need to pay extra services to be able to ensure the same stuff. And you can also work with local data centers that is able to understand your needs and meet regulatory requirements a little bit easier than say big cloud companies who will not care about these demands. We have successfully attracted many high caliber clients such as NASA, CERN. So Atlas Experiments actually is the system that is backing up CERN's experimental data to a European storage provider called CO Storage. So we have lots of clients like that. If you're interested in finding out who is using Filecoin and why, please feel free to scan the QR code and look at some of the case studies. It's quite fascinating. I specifically really love what USC Showa Foundation, USC University Showa Foundation's work, and some of the recordings that we just recently recorded in Filecoin Vegas event will be out. And there was a amazing demo that's done by the head of Showa Foundation, CTO of Showa Foundation, on how they're using this kind of technology to record testimonials of war crimes. So one important concept to remember when you're working with Filecoin protocol is the storage deal. Everything is kind of designed around these storage deals. So storage deals means on a pretty large scale, when a client wants to onboard the data, they will usually publish a deal on the network to the storage providers out there, and storage providers will receive this kind of broadcast deals, and then they will respond to whether they want to take those deals or not. So this is initial phase of storage deal. Client prepare the data and then have a generator like a CID, or in Filecoin network we call it piece ID. And then this piece ID is broadcasted out to the storage providers with a price attached to it. If the storage provider likes the deal, they will put their hand up to store this information and then start to produce proofs that they have a copy of it. And then once it's being stored, the proof of replication is being sent to the network. Then every 30 seconds, they need to send a proof of space time to the network to prove that they still have a piece of the data, and the data is intact in their server to the network to be able to receive block rewards. So storage providers are incentivized to provide really good services and checking every 30 seconds to ensure that they still have the files and are online. If they don't, we will then use the collaterals that they have put in hard drive sectors, and then start to burn the money as a form of punishment. So carrot and sticks. The carrots are block rewards that they do, and if they're doing providing services or joining network in the proper way, we give them. But if they don't, then without knowing who they are, our way of securing their enterprise level of services is heavy slashing. So towards the end of the storage deal, typically it's a 6 to 18 months time. The client can choose to renew or let it expire, or they can get someone else to pay for the storage deal further, so the data is still there. That was important to understand because Filecoin virtual machine is by and large an automation of this storage deal market. That's the most important function of Filecoin virtual machine. So a little bit of background on Filecoin blockchain. When it was first created, it was super tailored for its purposes. So building up of hardware resources and allowing people to make storage deals. It is not very easy for developers to build some function that is new. You basically need to learn all of the architecture of Filecoin and then and write in Rust or Go sort of the implementations of what we call actors, in there. However, this has presented quite a bit of challenge to a lot of other projects who wants to just have a EVM type of development experience. So Filecoin Virtual Machine was announced in April this year, and it's been going on for a few months now. We're glad to see that with the delivery of Filecoin Virtual Machine, we successfully breached a lot of gaps that we have in the ecosystem and allow developers to innovate on top of Filecoin really quickly. They can just port their Solidity contracts over and deploy to Filecoin VM, which is a EVM compatible machine. It still runs on Filecoin blockchain, but it is EVM compatible. So as long as your contract works on Ethereum, it should theoretically work on FEM. Some of the function might be missing, but just most of the functions should be working on FEM. So FEM has been quite a success story. Apologies, some of the stats like 75K active FEM wallets might be outdated, but we do have 10 million fields being held by FEM-powered smart contracts. And also we have a total of like a 19 million Filecoin deposit on the DeFi protocols that runs on Filecoin. One of the most popular use cases of Filecoin Virtual Machine is still liquid staking protocols to solve some of the liquidity issues that we have on the Filecoin. And then we have also lowered the technical sort of integration cost for other projects to build to us. So people like XLI is providing bridging solutions to Filecoin. A lot of exchanges are building to Filecoin in a very easy way, and financial services as well. There are about over 30 major Web3 partners that are currently actively building to FEM. I'm going to speed up a little bit and go through some of the slides very quickly. Filecoin is also made for builders. We're encouraging a lot of builders to come. So hence I'm here talking to you all. We participated about 70 hackathons last year, gave out $1 million in prizes in total for all of the hackathons. We also have a really amazing grants program, really professional team to run grants operations. We have approved about over 500 grants last year, and that grant program is still going right now. So if you go to grants, devgrants.filecoin.io, you'll be able to find some of the rules that we play right now to give out public funding for funders and open source developers there that is trying to add value to Web3 ecosystem. On top of these, we find really promising funders, and we have an investment arm. We will invest in some of the projects, but what we're doing more increasingly is to work with VCs around the world and bring Filecoin ecosystem projects to them so that they can fund with external capital. So we have helped many teams to raise in this year, last year and this year. So Filecoin IPFS together offers a really good sort of combination of technology for developers to build any applications on. IPFS gives flexible retrieval, gateways, local nodes, browsers, all these kind of wonderful technologies to deal with hot storage. And then Filecoin provides persistency, verifiability, really good enterprise machines to make sure that your data is still safe. So it's a good complement. It's a good marriage. So a little bit about the topic today, which is DataDAO. So one of the second most promising use case of FEM is that you have a Filecoin virtual machine that is able to control the underlying data market. Then what you could do theoretically is to have a bunch of people who has really valuable data. With AI really taking off, the data becomes very precious these days. Verified data, good quality data that can differentiate your kind of AI instance than other people becomes really important. Filecoin has a unique point in the market to be able to provide data storage and secure data storage. So what you could do is actually have a bunch of people that has very important information, and they can store it on Filecoin and have a program like a smart contract to manage those data, and then allow people's access to these data, so you can generate some income for revenue for these data holders. So FEM provides like the execution of that. So this is the stack of the Filecoin network. And in IPFS, everything flows freely, but there is very little incentive for anyone to keep the files. You can pay a pinning service like a Pinata or Web3 storage to store it for you, or Infura. But then as soon as you stop paying for that, the information will perish from the network. The reference will still be there, but the file is likely not to be able to be found. With Filecoin, you make deals with storage providers, and they're contractually obligated on the smart contract to be able to store the file for quite a while. And with FEM, we then have a programmatic way of renewing all these files. So one of the interesting thing that you could do is, if you have a piece of information that you want to pass on for generations, you can give a large a smart contract a lot of Filecoins, and then the smart contract can renew those deals and replicate data across the world. They can also detect when the file is deleted or when the file is terminated from the contract and no longer there. They can then find another copy, replicate it, and then find a new storage provider to persist this. So it's quite powerful. And DataDAOs is kind of the innovation that Filecoin virtual machine is able to power. Developing on Filecoin virtual machine and developing a DataDAO on Filecoin, the experience is same as EVM. Instead of deploying to EVM endpoints, at the end you deploy to Filecoin testnet or Filecoin mainnet. And then it will run on a Filecoin network. So there's a lot of like a demo kit that's been created by my colleague Zach and FEM team Sarah and Matt before for DeFi related ones. Please feel free to take a look at those and learn from them. So this is like a flow chart of how to deal with data in the network. The client wants to store, and depending on the size and whether they want a programmatic control of the storage, they can use Filecoin or not. And then depending on the size, they can use different kind of pathways. So if it is one-time thing, you can make a deal manually. There's a lot of APIs, command line sort of operations needed. There are also tools to make that simple, like a UI, to be able to control how you make deals. But mostly that's a manual process. But you can also, for a small piece of data, you can use Filecoin to data onboarding tools and data aggregators such as Lighthouse to be able to offer perpetual storage of data to the network, and they will manage all of the complicated contracts for you. Or if you have data that is big enough, let's say a lot of training good data for training AI, and you have terabytes of them, then it's probably easier for you to use Filecoin programmatic storage like FEM to offer some deals to the storage providers. So that's the blue path there. So the FEM is able to, let's say, in the context of a DAO or a data DAO, what FEM can solve is we can run the governance on top of it. We can run the tokenomics. You can issue ERC20 tokens on top of Filecoin if you want to, and you can manage the endowment. And then we can also repair data. We can renew the data and also make new storage deals. So think of some data that is highly valuable, like a human genomic sequencing, which is being stored on Filecoin. There's this company in Texas that is endeavored to do that. And think of financial transactions, a lot of people's spending behavior. Those things could worth millions of dollars if you can extract insights off and provide to other companies. there's the real market on it. Like Ocean Protocol has a lot of DeFi data on their marketplaces, and people are paying for them because it's not very always easy to access or easy to process. So people buy that, train their bots to do trading, and it's generating a lot of value out of them. So things like that, you can have a collection of these datas and gather their data owners together, form a DAO, so they can manage how the data gets used and how the data gets sold. For example, insights of that could be sold, and then the income could be shared with data DAO members in there. So there's a DataDAO toolkit that has been created by Zach Ayesh. So I encourage you to scan the QR code, take a look at the code. I won't have time to go through that today. Oh, actually, let me just show you very quickly over here. So this is the repo. And if you go to Hard Hat the development environment, he's put the contracts over here. And the rest of the contracts are about governance and time lock feature of some of the voting process, I think. But the most important one that you need to see is this DAO deal client .so, and you can see it is using Zondex created Filecoin Solidity contract to be able to interact with Filecoin market. And if I search for deal request here, you can see that we're constructing an object that has all the information that you need to be able to make storage deals. And then at the end, I think you can send the request over through a method called make deal propose create. And a make deal proposal, I think it's deal request. I can't seem to find it, but I think it's this function. So over here, make deal proposal, that actually broadcasts the data storage deal out there and tell all the storage providers in the network to store certain piece of information on the network, and what's being returned is the deal proposal ID, which you can read the status. So in 1 to 2 days time, usually, the data deal will be serviced, and the information will start to be onboarded to the storage providers. So this piece ID identifies the data content in Filecoin network. So take a look at this kit, and there are more FEM resources, if you like, on this Filecoin VM link tree. And something that's very exciting that's coming is interplanetary consensus. So Filecoin blockchain was made to make storage deals. It's actually quite slow, so 30 seconds block time. That means you achieve a finality in about 7.5 hours or so. We're changing that. We're upgrading the consensus mechanism because we realized a lot of kind of limits in that. So with the interplanetary consensus, which is scheduled to be released early next year, we are able to achieve, we should be able to achieve a sub-second latency on block speed. And then we should be able to see like thousands of transactions in each subnets to provide really high throughputs. So I think this will make Filecoin as a blockchain really attractive to developers out there. It's a very new way of running things. If you would like to know Filecoin's position in the market and Filecoin's overall economy status, please feel free to scan any of these QR codes and read the reports that's been generated. My head is blocking the Filecoin annual report, but if you search for a Filecoin annual report, you'll be able to get the last year's report, and we're making a new one soon for this year. Or you can find me if you have any questions. Feel free to scan this QR code, find my link tree. You can find the articles there as well that Pretty talked about. and all of my DM methods. So feel free to chat to me. I'm there to help you on your journey to decentralized storage. So yeah, if you're listening and if you got some questions, maybe confused by some of the things, I went through things pretty quickly. Please feel free to put it in the chat. I think we still have like 3-4 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you for this session. That was amazing. I'm sure it will be very helpful for people who have joined us and also people who will be watching it as reference later. Yeah, I don't think we have any question, but I'll just add like the link to the Filecoin Bounty statement, just in case people want to refer it. Yeah. And yeah, obviously he's there on our Discord. In case you have any doubts, you can just reach out to him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be hanging around on the push Discord as well. Just say hi to me if I don't reply. I have lots of Discord channels going on actually, because I went to many developer events. Just DM me or send me a friend request. We can have a private chat about your project.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, should we end this now?
Yeah, and any question from you, Preeti?
Oh no. By the way, it was a great session, and thank you for staying awake for
Oh,
this.
no worries. Yeah, okay. I don't think I can sleep now. I need to keep going. But yeah, it's a great pleasure. Yeah. Oh, we start to have some questions now.
Any DAO storage provider deals can we build?
Storage providers are still they're just providing the infrastructure. So DAOs can make those kind of storage deals with storage providers around the world. You will need to bring the data onto IPFS first, prepare the data, and then make deals there. Yeah. So you can build a storage provider on kind of testnet. It takes a lot of time to do that. And simulate that part, but I wouldn't recommend it. It will take a very long time. Just use some of the mock services to be able to prove that your system works with that. And also in real life, if you want to build a storage provider, there is a barrier, kind of a barrier of entry, so anyone can join it. Like if you have a PC that's powerful enough, you can join and provide storage. But typically you are running a business, right? And you want kind of a return of your investment on those machines. You need to invest in quite a substantial amount to be able to break even or make a profit on top of that. So yeah, so you can make it, but I'm just saying, like for the sake of building a prototype, don't try to do that. It's a pretty it's a pretty involved process. Yeah. But there are simulators and mock APIs for those purposes, and the calibration net works. If you make a deal on our testnet, some of the testnet storage providers will be able to take your deal and service those things. For example, for 100 megabyte, they can do it for you.
Yeah. Thanks for your question, Nitin. I hope it answers. Also, just wanted to ask, are you gonna be there for Dev Connect or ETH India?
Yeah, Dev Connect. So I'm going there. India, I still hold a Chinese passport. I live in Australia, so a little bit tricky for me to get Indian visa, but I'm working on that. Yeah, I'll do my
Oh
best to
wow.
be there. Yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing. Push is gonna be there too. So
Oh, yes.
hopefully we get to meet.
Yeah. Also, thank you, Push. You have been a wonderful partner to Filecoin and help us to grow developer ecosystems. Thank you so much for being out there for us.
Yeah, likewise. I think we love working with Filecoin and it's been nice. Thank you for the session. See you soon. Hope.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.